It is Monday, 9:04 in the 9:04. This is Jaguars Happy Hour. Jaguars Happy Hour is presented by Jet Home Loans. And now, a guy who believes Labor Day should celebrate mothers everywhere, J.P. Shadrick.
And welcome in. It is Jaguars Happy Hour and Happy Labor Day. Welcome in, J.P. Shadrick. We've got a busy couple hours ahead as we get ready for Week 1 in the National Football League. The team's back to work today. The initial 53-man roster set last Tuesday. Week 1, Jaguars at Colts, Lucas Oil Stadium, the site this coming Sunday for a 1 o'clock kickoff. In the second hour, we'll keep it real as always. And Fanatics fan questions, many on X today. We'll hear from Christian Kirk, Foye Lukin. They both spoke with the media a little earlier this afternoon. We're on 1010XL, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. Tony Boselli and Pete Prisco joining me now. Happy Labor Day, gentlemen. How are we today?
We're good.
Nothing like working on Labor Day.
Look at you complaining about working. Oh, my God. Unbelievable.
I'm just saying it's nothing like working on Labor Day. I have no problem with it.
Knowing you're getting time and a half anyways.
No, come on. I'm actually in Newport Beach, California.
I was going to say, it looks like you look kind of beachy today, Tony, I must say.
Yeah, I was I came out for I had some work on the West Coast last week, and then I came and watched the best university in the world, the University of Southern California, go to war with Nevada. Because my son-in-law plays there. So watched them, and then came down to see my stepmom in Newport Beach at her house down here. So, and
you're gonna go to Javier's and have some dinner?
Pete, I was at Javier's last night.
I've been there. It's a good restaurant.
Outstanding, and it was hopping last night.
Javier's.
Hopping.
It's a good restaurant. And
there's a lot. Yep. I think most of the pretty people on the universe are eating at Javier's on a nightly basis. I mean, it was packed for a Sunday night. I know today's Labor Day. That's probably why. But it's great food, great atmosphere. We sat outside. It's really cool.
So how did the 2 chips you ate, since that's all you can eat these days, go out with that?
Well, that's the one thing. For whatever reason, I can still eat Mexican food is my favorite, and I had plenty of chips and guac. Had a little carnitas. It was outstanding.
It's good. That's a really good Mexican restaurant, no doubt. And JP called the game this weekend. He had Colorado and TCU. Yeah. I mean, my gosh.
Big ball game
what
in
a
Fort
game.
Worth.
What
Unbelievable.
a game. Back
and forth. All the second half lead changes. Deion shocking college football with a win over a team that went to the championship game last year. And they can score. I don't know how many people they're going to stop in Colorado this year, but they can score. There's no doubt about that.
Tony, what do you think the over-unders on JP screams was in that game?
Pete, it's funny. I was going to go there. First of all, I was going to say, JP, they got the one stop when it mattered at the end of the game.
It's true.
That was a game like whoever could get one stop at the end was going to win.
That was it.
Or whoever had the ball last. I was wondering, Pete, JP, did you run out of big touchdown calls? I mean, it was such a high scoring game. I mean, were you reusing some of your best material by the fourth quarter?
You know, it was funny. The start of the game, right? TCU gets the ball first on offense, and they go to the line. They want to play fast, so they go 3 and out in 50 seconds. And my analyst, Derek Rackley, didn't get a word in, for the first 4 plays of the game, nothing at all.
That's kind of like me and Tony on here on Mondays.
Yeah, that's right. That's just
same thing.
That's what it is.
Hey, by the way, I've heard JP call games. He's very good at it, at calling games. In fact, he's so much better at calling games than he is on here on Mondays. I can tell you that for
thanks.
a fact.
I appreciate that. I'll take that. Thank you, Pete.
No, you're very good.
No, he does a good job. But no, you're right about that. JP, when it's going fast on radio, because it's much different than TV, because you can't talk, the analyst can't talk over the play, and so if it's a if it's a fast-paced offense, that analyst can be sitting there for a while.
That's what
I just sit back and start eating snacks and drinking coffee and say, go about your bad self.
Pretty much, yeah. And then both teams played fast in that game on Saturday. So that cold beer after the game tasted really nice. Let's put it that way. Hey, initial 53-man roster is out on Tuesday afternoon. 7 wide receivers made the team, guys.
How close were we, by the way?
We were pretty close.
We were close, except for we didn't have
the extra wide receiver for sure.
We didn't have Cooks. And how many offensive linemen did they keep, JP? I think they and we got Hance wrong. They kept Cole Van Lannon instead of Blake Hance, right? Or is Blake Hance back on the? He's not on the roster either, is he, JP?
He's hurt.
He's on the roster that I have in front of me.
He is,
yep.
But he's hurt. So okay, didn't he get hurt?
Hold on, wait a second. I thought Blake Hance got cut. Did he get re-signed? Did I misread the? I thought I saw a release where he got cut. So I don't want to. Obviously, I'm wrong. Obviously.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the roster on the website. I'm assuming it's up to date.
So let's go through it. We'll go through it. I mean, we got who do we have on the offensive line that we didn't have? Read it, JP. Tell us who's on it.
So we're going through it. Here we go. With the offensive linemen, we've got Sheriff, we've got Shatley, Van Lannon, Walker Little, Blake Hance, Anton Harrison, Ben Barch, Luke Fortner.
Okay, Van Lannon we didn't have.
Right.
No.
We didn't have Van Lannon.
JP, was I mistaken that they moved Hance at one point, or did I just miss it completely?
I think there was something right around before the 4:00 deadline. Something strange happened, but I think he's on the roster.
Reading something online. Okay, he's on the roster now because I remember reading online. I was shocked about the news because I thought for sure he was making it, especially with the injuries.
But he's on the roster.
Okay, good. So, because that's perfect. I want to make sure I'm clear there.
So that's 8 guys, right? What is that?
Yeah, only 8.
I think he was brought back, though. I think he was brought back.
Yeah, he was, obviously. But there's only 8, Pete, on the 8 offensive linemen. And so that's why they kept the 7th receiver. Now, the interesting thing is they're going to have decisions to make because Cam Robinson will come back. Do they cut an offensive lineman or they cut someone at another position like wide receiver?
Well, Van Lannon would be the candidate to go, wouldn't he, if you're going to keep 8 and put him on the practice squad?
If you're going to keep 8, but then the other one, Cooper Hodges is going to come back, will be able to come back after, 4 weeks, JP?
Yeah.
Short-term
short-term
IR?
That's right. That's the minimum, so we'll see.
So aside from Van Lannon, we got the line right.
Yes.
By the way, the linemen on the practice squad are Darrell Williams, Coy Cronk, and Chandler Brewer.
Yep.
Okay. And they could always move Van Lannon or one of those guys to practice squad if they have to.
Yeah, in theory, you could do that.
I mean, they could. They must have been concerned that the 7th receiver was going to get claimed.
I think the other one we did not have there, and I'm looking at the roster online on Jaguars.com. Angelo Blackson.
They just signed him today, though.
Yeah,
right. I'm saying we didn't have him. They just signed him. That's my point. We did not have him as one of the offensive linemen. Obviously, I mean defensive lineman because obviously he wasn't there. And I don't think Pete. We had Caleb Johnson. The linebacker, who's a special teams ace. That's why he made the team.
We did not. The reason Blackson's on the team is because of what happened with Hamilton.
That's right. Has to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, because remember when the Hamilton news came out, everyone was pushing, the talk was that he would be ready for opening day. That was kind of the impression we were given, at least. And obviously that's a longer term injury. We still are unclear exactly what happened because he is now on IR. That means 4 weeks without him, and that's why we had to go make a move there off the wire.
And they signed Ross Blacklock today too to the practice squad.
Yeah, to the squad.
Remember, he was a Texans draft pick who I thought was going to be a good player. It hadn't worked out for him yet, but so they clearly have concerns about Mr. Hamilton, even though he was in the building last week. He's in the building. Remember that?
Well, and I think the other corner we did not have on the roster. I can't remember. Did we have Monteric Brown make it?
No, we did not.
Nope. He made it. He made it.
So we missed about 3 positions. If you take away the adding of Blackson, that we did not know what was going to happen there, because
if you knew Hamilton was going on IR, we would have had another. So technically, we missed Brown and we missed the linebacker Johnson
and the seventh receiver.
Those are the 2 missed.
And we thought they were going to keep. We thought they'd keep 9 offensive linemen.
Mm-hmm.
Not.
So obviously, yeah, like you said, Pete, it feels like, we were talking about, hey, the 7th receiver is going to get claimed no matter what they do. Well, they just kept them both instead of a 4th tight end.
And by the way, Jacob Harris did not get claimed.
No, he did not.
He's on the practice squad. He's on the practice squad.
Right.
And the other thing that we did not know at the time was Chris Claybrooks was going to be put on the commissioner's list.
That's right. So he's out indefinitely.
That's right.
So that changes a whole lot as well.
Well, that's also probably why would you think they would have kept Claybrooks over Monteric Brown no matter what?
I don't know that they love him as a gunner, Pete.
Yeah, I think that's where his real
special teams.
That's where his real value was, Pete, I think.
And he can run. And so if you're going to play a lot of man, he can run outside with guys.
Yeah, Jacob Harris is back, so look, and probably if you had cut the 7th receiver, he probably would have been back too, because there was no guys were claimed, barely any guys were claimed around the league.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot. And Pete, I think the one we missed, the biggest miss was on us. We thought the 6th and 7th, or the 6th receiver, was coming down to Tim Jones and Harris, and really Cooks was obviously making the team was ahead of Harris in that conversation.
Yeah.
Yep, and they didn't do the 4th tight end. They let Garrett Prince walk.
Yeah,
that was another one we were surprised at. We thought they'd keep 4.
They kept 3 tight ends,
and they said
all three will be active on game day, and they have a lot of 3 tight end sets. So anyone, if that's part of your game plan, which it will be for Doug and Press Taylor, the offensive coordinator, and one gets dinged up during the game, that takes a piece of your playbook out because you only have 3 active tight ends on the roster.
And they didn't bring Prince back, did they?
No, he signed with another practice
squad. That's right.
So
they could elevate him if they had to, but
he signed with another team's practice squad.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They don't have another tight end on the roster right now, I don't think, on the practice squad.
Yeah, they do.
They've got
Peterson.
Yeah, Josh Peterson. And Derek Parrish is listed as a tight end now.
Yeah, Parrish is tight end.
He was a fullback, a linebacker. That guy played everywhere.
Yeah, right. He was a pass rusher at Houston.
Right.
Cougars, yeah.
Yeah. So they might if they get an injury at tight end in the game, that's going to be a problem then.
That's right, Pete. I mean, especially if the 3 tight end is a big part of your game plan, and we saw that we saw glimpses of that during the preseason.
But it wasn't. But as far as the cuts go for the entire team, it was an easy cut, and that's always usually a pretty good sign to me.
Yeah, I think a couple, like back end of the roster, a couple surprises that we got wrong. And obviously, listen, Cooks had a great preseason, and they loved him. He's big, he's athletic, he can move. He's an interesting player. An interesting guy to have on your roster, and I think they just, coming in as a rookie, first opportunity. I think they loved, possibly the development of him and the fear that he would get picked up, and they wouldn't be able to get him on practice squad because he did have a good preseason, and he has, like I said, a really interesting skill set because of his size.
Yeah, and if Hodges and Hodges would have been on the team no matter what. He would have made it. Ventrell Miller might have forced him to cut Shaq Quarterman, don't you think?
I think he came. I think Caleb
Johnson got his spot.
Caleb Johnson was making the team no matter what. That's why I ended up hearing late, Pete, in the process, that something that obviously you and I missed is they love him from a core special teams guy. I mean, he just has a real a skill set that they like a lot in that. And so I think it would have come down to Vontrell Miller or Quarterman making the roster at the end. And because of the injury,
they would have kept Miller. They were not cutting a draft pick if he was healthy.
I wouldn't have thought so. And I think with the injury to the Achilles, that made it obviously a very easy decision for them. I think the biggest surprise to me is keeping 8 offensive linemen and only keeping 3 tight ends.
Yeah. Well, it tells you they're concerned about that defense a little bit too, doesn't it?
Well, I think it has a lot to do with injuries too. You have the Fatukasi injury, so obviously he's supposed to be ready for the opening day, but at what percentage? So, and then you have the Devon Hamilton injury as well.
But he was in the building last week.
Pete, will you stop saying that over and over again, please?
Guys, let's come back. So hey, we got to come back, guys.
that forced their hand.
Yes.
I think at a couple positions.
Tony, we'll come back a little later and dig into that thought. I will return with a little more offensive discussion as the Jaguars get ready for Week 1 in the National Football League. Jags fans want customized Jaguars furniture for your home? Check out zipchair.com and browse all customizable options. ZipChair, furniture for fans. We're off and running. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com. The world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
Football and Miller Lite. Duval's greatest pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going well past postgame. Sunday night overtime. Followed by Monday morning pride. Knocking on bar tops for luck. Kicking back on any given Sunday. You never forget the way some things taste. Jags football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
When it comes to water, choose our team, the winning team. Choose CGC Water Treatment. CGC Water Treatment works, and it works for DG, too. Former Jags QB, David Garrard.
If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Discover the Kinetico difference.
Call CGC Water Treatment at 844-CGC-JAGS or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local independent Kinetico dealers.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Reconnect with the best version of you at Amara Med Spa, Northeast Florida's premier luxury medical spa, located in Ponte Vedra, Town Center, Avondale, St. Augustine, and Fernandina. With the most advanced injectors, estheticians, and technology, Amara Med Spa is redefining beauty, offering services such as Botox and filler, M-Sculpt Neo, painless laser hair removal, and advanced skincare treatments. Visit theamaramedspa.com and book a complimentary consultation today.
that's the unique thing about the roster, and the way it's constructed every year. You never really go in with a set number. I mean, in your mind, you might have a set number, and sometimes, you're going to go heavy at a position, you'll go light at another one, or whatever it might be. So it's just how it worked out this year, and we're excited for the 7 that we have, and obviously depth there, and a couple on practice squad too.
That's head coach Doug Peterson, of course, at a press conference late last week discussing the initial 53-man roster. Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on Monday. JP Shadrick with Tony Boselli and Pete Prisco. We're on 1010XL AM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. Glad you're with us. The Jaguars back in the building today after 3 mandated days off, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the players. And back on the practice field today. Players' day off tomorrow, and then Wednesday the prep begins again for the Jaguars and the Colts at Lucas Oil Stadium this Sunday. Doug Peterson there discussing wide receivers. What are you guys laughing at? I'm sitting here, what?
3 days off, back for a day, and off on Tuesday. Oh, my gosh.
Pete, you read my mind. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, oh, boy. How good it is to be an NFL player in this system.
It's absolutely incredible when you think about it. My gosh.
I mean, good for them. I mean, Pete, what it reminds me of, Pete and JP. So I remember when I was playing, and my brother-in-law actually played for the Buffalo Sabres when they were really good with Dominic Hasek, and that when they went to the finals and so on and so forth. And he was on the number 2 line. So he was a center on the number 2 line. And he played in the NHL for 15 or 17 years, long time. And so I'd go up there during the off season and watch him play, and because I actually introduced him to Angie's little sister, and that's how they met and they got married. But we would talk about, and he would tell me his schedule. And they had back then, their CBA was much like our CBA today. Is like they had limited, defined number of hours they could be at the stadium for a practice. And it was something ridiculous. They could only be on the ice for X amount of time, and they only had to be at the facility X amount of time. And the people got there and they left. And I'm like, are you kidding me? It was 3 hours or 4 hours. It was a half day at most. And and he's like, don't you guys have stuff like that? I'm like, hell no. They can beat the hell out of us and do whatever they want, whenever they want. The only thing we have is 1 mandatory day off a week, which is, Tuesday. And even then, if you're injured, they can force you to come into the building and do rehab and everything else. And he was blown away. And he goes, what about training camp? I'm like, no, there's no rules. I mean, they own you, and as much time on the field, meetings, so on and so forth. And he's like, that's crazy. He's like, even during camp, there's only so many hours we can be at the facility. And I used to think back, I'm like, man, that sounds so good. Because, listen, do I think they maybe have gone too far the other way in the NFL now? Because the NFL is the one professional sport that takes reps. It's 11 guys on the same page. It's the most strategic game in professional sports. It takes the most coordination, timing, and everything else. Yeah, I think they might have gone too far the other way. But with that said, we were way too far doing stupid stuff that was at the point. I always said it. I'm like, it's diminishing returns. The more time we're spending, we're not getting any better. If anything, it's just beating us up and wearing us down. And so I love it for the guys now, because you can take care of your body. Mentally, you're taken care of. I mean, it's a limited time you have to be at the facility. You can do all the treatment, by the way, the team provides everything you need around that as well. Plus you can do your own personal stuff. And so I just laughed when I heard that, 3 days off mandatory, then they have another day off because it's game week. And I'm just like, you know what? You have no excuse, especially if you're a pro, Pete.
Right.
If you're like a guy who takes your craft seriously, so you're doing the extra work, you're preparing, I would have thrived in this environment because I was always doing more and trying to, make sure I was ready for game day. And I would have just thrived in this because I would have felt so good and mentally ready and fresh and recovered physically, and camp wouldn't have been a grind. I mean, Logs and I talk about it all the time. I mean, you come out of camp and you were beat to hell going into the regular season. You are tired. Your body's tired. Now, I think the advantage we had, I think we had more calluses. Like there was and I'm not saying these guys aren't tough today, but like you beat yourself into a position where your body could endure a lot.
And you were more physical. You were more physical. You tackled. It was physical.
Yeah. It was but Pete, it was a more physical game back then.
I mean, I joked around when we were at camp. Where's the middle drill? When are they going to do the middle drill or goal line? Full goal line. They don't do it anymore.
But even the rules of the game are you can't be as physical. I talk to current players all the time, offensive linemen, and they say, man, watching what you guys could do back then is like amazing. Like, and I'm not saying it's right. Like we used to be able to cut. Like if I got a guy on the ground, I could go down and just hammer him. You know, you could put your hand in the face as long as you removed it. They weren't going to call it right away. Now, the defense could do a lot of stuff to us too. You know, when you used to pull, the DBs could come chop your knees out and go low and cut you.
I told a story when I was out in California with the offensive linemen when Charles Bentley was doing his thing, and we sat down and we watched the tape from the Cowboys-Packers game when Reggie White and Larry Allen and Eric Williams were there. And I was just sitting there because, you know, I'd lived it. I was around it. But to go back and watch it, it was so violent. The line play was just a war all the entire time. It was just vicious.
And that was the era I played in. I mean, it was come off the ball and just beat the hell out of each other and downhill and vertical and cutting people and cutting in the screen game out in space and rolling up on guys and guys cutting you. And like, it was and by the way, peel back blocks and like you could earhole guys and you could get earholed. I mean, that was the thing back in interception was throwing his offensive lineman, man, get your head on a swivel because they're coming after you. And I mean, you could get lit.
The game is different in so many ways. In a lot of ways, it's better. In a lot of ways, it loses something as well. It loses the physical early in the season. The games aren't as crisp and physical as they should be. You know, one thing I did want to say, Coughlin would have had trouble with all these rules, but I want to go back to last week. Man, the man needs to be in the Hall of Fame. Let's go.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, look, it's ridiculous. Tom Coughlin should be in the Hall of Fame, and he didn't get in. They put, the old-time coach in, and now they'll put Shanahan in or him in next, and then one of them will go in. He'll get in. He should get in.
Yeah, he's going to get in. He's going to get in. I think you're exactly right, Pete. He will get in. But back to your point about the physicality of the way it was played, and is it a better game or a worse game today? I actually think – because I think one of the biggest changes was the freedom they gave receivers to run across the middle and the way offense can be played now, because you didn't need a reason to knock someone out going across the middle when I played. And I always watching Jimmy and Keenan and those guys go across the middle and the toughness and what they did. And even like there was no helmet to helmet. No one even thought about that. That's how you hit somebody. And there was no defenseless receiver and anything like that. I mean, like defensive ends used to be able to bull rush and put their head right into our Sturman's head first. I mean, it was just – and so – but what it's done, the new rules, yes, it's protected players. It's made the game less physical. It's still a physical game. You still got to be a tough dude to go play this game. So I'm not questioning anyone's toughness. It's still physical. It's just not as physical. But I think in some aspects the fans like it more, because it's opened it up and it's become a score. It's points. A lot of offense, big numbers and
fantasy
points and
football,
everything else.
Points, all that. Yeah.
I mean, we just talked about the Colorado TCU game. And that's college football, but college football's even taken a more severe approach of kicking kids out of games if you go helmet to helmet. But Pete, for me personally, I probably enjoyed the game more in the era that I played in, just because that's what I was used to in the physical nature. But with that said, I still love the game, and I think the fans love it. And I think what they've done around training camp, probably too far for me. But overall, I think it's the right move in protecting guys. And by the way, I'm convinced half the time coaches would do what they did to us just because they were scared to death that someone else was doing more than them.
Right.
Like they just did stuff to do it.
like stay around the office at 5 o'clock on a Friday in the off season just because you think the other guys doing it and might make you look good. I agree. They all did that.
And some of the practices we're doing, like this is just like it's like what? Like, come on! I don't need to hit this much. I can't even. Like I'm like beat the hell, and we have a season ahead of me, and so I think it makes the coaches smarter too, and have to be smarter. And like I'll give you a perfect example, and I love what Doug Peterson did. If you look at the beginning of training camp, they ran 2 fields. They had the ones on one field, the twos on the other field, and they got a ton of reps in. That's smart. These new rules are forcing coaches to think through their strategies and how they prepare their team. And you got to be smart, and the smart coaches will figure it out. And that, like guys like Doug Peterson. So it's still a great game. The rules have changed. Player safety is at the forefront. I think thinking about player safety is good. I always tell people though, if you're worried, don't play this game if you want to be safe though. This game is not for the people who want to be safe.
No, but you know what's funny, Tony? You talk about your generation and the one when I first started covering you guys and stuff and how violent and nasty it was. Well, I'm a little
worse
older.
Before that.
I'm a little older. You didn't have the head slap. It was
Pete. I remember. Listen. You're not much older than I am. As a kid, I've been watching NFL football as a diehard fan since I remember watching the '77 Broncos Orange Crush play against the Dallas Cowboys in the Super Bowl. I mean, I grew up in the physicality and what happened. I mean, think about as a Bronco fan. I remember the fights between them and the Raiders at the Lyle Alzado. It was mayhem.
Always
late hits, and like no one's getting thrown out.
No,
it was like a flag here or there, and guys body slamming. Remember, I can't remember the guy. Remember the defensive lineman who body slammed Jim McMahon and almost killed him?
Yeah, that was Turkey Jones.
And I mean, that was so violent that he actually did get suspended.
Wasn't it Turkey Jones, or did he do Bradshaw?
I don't remember, but I mean, and so the evolution of the game, and part of the evolution is around player safety and playing the game, and what that has opened it up more and made it more of an offensive game. That's why you go back and look at some of the numbers, like the fact that Pete, the all-time
Charles Martin, that's who it was.
Charles Martin. Yep. Pete, the fact that the all-time leading receiver in our game is Jerry Rice, who played in an era where you could beat up guys, you can get knocked out across the middle. It was a much more physical game, and that he is still the all-time leader by a significant margin is remarkable. And you go look at the numbers like that Jerry Rice put up, or a James Lofton, who's even older than Jerry Rice, and what he did in the era where you could beat people up all the way down the field. It is – we talked about it last week, Dan Marino throwing for 5,000 yards in 1984. Like that's when you appreciate the true greatness of certain guys and what they were able to do. And that's why I think it's always very difficult to compare players from era to era. And you have to judge when, like we were talking about the Hall of Fame with Coach Coughlin, you have to judge players based on their era and what they did. And that's why I'll go to Fred Taylor. You look what Fred Taylor did in the era he played in his physical ability and the yards and the moves and the games, what he did is remarkable. In today's era, Fred Taylor would be.
But in today's era, they'd play him for 5 years and then get rid of him and
get
get a
guy.
younger guy.
Yeah, but not Fred Taylor, because remember, one thing Fred never did, Pete, he never slowed down.
That's true.
Hey, let's come back, guys. We got plenty ahead, and we'll try to figure out a pass rushing strategy against Anthony Richardson when we come back. That's the challenge this week for the Jaguars. Sign up your furry friend for the Jaguars official four-legged fan club for pets, presented by Forever Vets Animal Hospital. Your pet will receive access to exclusive merchandise, events, and sweepstakes throughout the 2023 season. Visit jaguars.com/promotions/four-legged fan club to sign up today. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamFindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
Cancer patients across the Southeast make Baptist MD Anderson Cancer Center in Jacksonville their first choice for treatment. Dr. Jonathan Melquist explains why.
We have so many resources that can help a patient from the very onset, and we just have a degree of unity and cohesive care that is hard to match. It's especially with the tougher cancers that we really excel.
Appointments available now. Call 844-632-2278.
Tackle your marketing needs with Kessler Creative. Providing direct mail services for more than a decade, Kessler has a wide range of services from small mailers to large banners and signs. Draft Kessler as your first pick to receive the best targeted mail list. Elevate your business and be on the winning team with Kessler Creative. Kessler Creative, results-driven marketing and proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Hey, Jags fans, stop dreaming of creating your game day fan cave and build the Jaguars den of your dreams with ZipChair. When it comes to maximum comfort, ZipChair.com is the only place for officially licensed Jaguars recliners, sofas, bar stools, office and gaming chairs, all featuring high-quality embroidered Jags logos. Crack open a few cold ones in the comfort of a Zip Chair and make your home the place to be on game day. Head over to ZipChair.com and save 20% today. Use code JagsRadio at checkout. ZipChair.com, furniture for fans.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Are you ready to elevate your tailgate experience, Jaguars fans? Citrus Distillers, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, is excited to announce the 2023 Jaguars Limited Edition Whiskey Bottle. Now available at Total Wine and other participating retailers. Elevate your tailgate experience, Jaguars fans. The 2023 Jaguars Limited Edition Whiskey Bottle. Duval!
Specific calls that we have, being able to play off of each other and already knowing where my boy is, even if I might be dropping this way, my help might be to my left or something. Just knowing where all the pieces fit on the field, I think it's going to be huge. And then, hurry up, obviously being able to communicate with each other on the field, already knowing what to expect from each other out there, just being able to play faster when we see a look.
Foyer, a look on Jaguars linebacker, the league's leading tackler the last 2 seasons. Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. JP Shadrick, Pete Prisco, Tony Boselli from the Hyundai Studios. Well, I'm in the Hyundai Studios. Tony and Pete are elsewhere. We're on 1010XL, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars YouTube. Glad you're with us. The Fanatics fan questions coming up in hour number 2. We'll keep it real, as we always do. Now, the question there was about continuity in the defense. All the starters are back. The play caller is back. The league's leading tackler is back. How would that help? That was his answer there. So they'll have a little bit of a test here week 1 with the mobility, at least, of Anthony Richardson. And I guess the challenge this week is keeping him contained and, forcing him to stand in there and make throws down the field. I mean, that would be advantageous for the back end of the Jaguars defense, I would guess, right?
Yeah, but it's also, how are they going to use him? I mean, are they going to gimmick the whole offense up for him? Are they going to allow him to drop back and throw the football? That's the unknown with him. I would imagine they're going to use him in the way they use Hurts in Philadelphia. But again, when you're a pass rusher with that style, Tony, you have to be a lot more disciplined in your rush up the field, or else you could have problems.
Yeah, I mean, you got to keep your lanes. You got to have your rush lanes. You hear a lot of teams talk about kind of a mush rush, where you're just kind of forcing him to stay in the pocket and operate from the pocket. And not. Well,
Jacksonville had a mush rush all last year. I don't think they want to do that again this year.
Pete, that's not very nice. But I do think, I mean, listen, he's an athletic, big, strong kid, big arm. If anything, the question about him is his accuracy. You saw that at Florida, his limited time there. I think a great comparison is Josh Allen. And I think what you saw in Josh Allen early in his career, because he was inaccurate at Wyoming, but it had all the tools. And it took him time to get comfortable in reading defenses. And because remember, Pete, how inaccurate he was early?
But he really was. You know what? That was a perception of him at Wyoming. And I went back and watched all his games on tape. And one thing, he had passes doinking off guys' faces and hand. He had terrible players at Wyoming. It was different. Not that Richardson had talented star receivers at Florida either, but
it's not like
it's a little different. It's a little different. But I get your point.
It's a good comparable. But all reports out of Indy, and this was the word coming out of Florida, he's a great kid, smart, but loves ball, like gym rat, and so he's gonna figure it out. I think he's going to be a good player.
I do too.
And I think the question is how do they utilize him early to kind of get his feet wet and make sure he's comfortable? I think it's going to be what you said, Pete, a lot of Jalen Hurts. I think you're going to see read options. I think you're going to see a lot of movement of the pocket. I think they're going to ask him to use his legs when he can. And that creates a problem for a defense when you're that athletic, when you're that talented. And it changes how you rush. It changes, what you want to do defensively, how aggressive you can be. I mean, heck, you play any man coverage and go after him and you miss him, he's off to the races and there's no one to go get him. And so I would expect a lot of zone, force him.
Do you spy him on third down passes, or is that?
I don't think so, Pete. Not if you're going to play zone.
Right.
I think you can play good zone coverage.
Well, they don't actually have receivers that scare you if you did match up with him in man-to-man either, though.
No, but I think man-to-man, the danger with man-to-man, then you better have,
you're running
you turn
with
your
him.
back, and you better have someone allocated for him then, because if he breaks contain or gets out of that rush, see you later. The kid can,
See, I think this is where Devin Lloyd's speed and his ability to be a better player than he was a year ago and understand the concepts of the defense will be in play big in this game, I think. That's just me.
No, I do too, but I think you're going to see a lot of zone. I think you have a lot of zone coverage.
Well, they have zone corners, so that makes sense.
Yeah, eyes outside of Tyson Campbell. Eyes on the guy and just force him. This is, I think, the game plan. Force him to put long drives together. And then what you're going to then most likely is going to happen, you're going to force mistakes. Yep. And because this is not a super talented team offensively. I mean, their best player is Jonathan Taylor's, on the PUP list or out.
Right, think about it. Your best player's on the PUP list, not playing. Your quarterback is a first-time starter, and how it goes. They have nobody who scares down the field at all. I mean, Pierce and Pittman. Pittman doesn't. He's a good player, but he doesn't run that well. He's not scaring you with his speed. They'll gimmick up some stuff for the tight ends. The offensive line was a disaster last year.
Yeah.
And so it's a limited offense. He's going to be, if Jacksonville's defense doesn't play well, and maybe they'll give up one big long scramble play run type of thing, but the rest of the game, I expect them to contain that offense. I really do.
No, I do too. But here's the thing: Shane Steichen's a heck of a play caller, and he proved it at the Chargers. He proved it at Philly. That's why he's a head coach. I mean, they'll have a game plan. They'll be ready. And Gus Bradley's a heck of a defense coordinator. So
yes,
he
is.
They have two good coordinators, and Gus will have a plan for Trevor and what they want to do. And my guess is they're going to play, a combination, a lot of, base coverage of some single high, 3 deep looks. They'll do some different kind of split safety looks to keep them honest. And they're going to try to keep everything in front of them and force Trevor to put together long drives as well. I mean, that's
Gus's MO anyway.
That's my point. If you look at Gus's success, whether he was at the Chargers, the Raiders, or at the Colts, against a similar offense like the Chiefs, same mindset, Andy Reid, Doug Peterson, a lot of talent offense. He plays the game saying, listen, we're going to keep everything in front of us, and we're going to play great red zone defense and force field goals and try to, make sure that you can't light up the scoreboard because of all the big plays and explosives that you get. So I think that will kind of be their game plan. And I mean, the Jaguars are a much better team. I mean, come on. They're a much better team. And this is a game.
By the way, that's flipped quickly. You know,
it has.
It has, because it wasn't a couple of years ago. You weren't thinking that.
No.
Remember, a couple of years ago was give them a quarterback and they're going to be a good team. The Colts. That's not the case anymore.
No, not at all. They got a quarterback, or at least a young one, and they got a lot of questions across the board. So listen. And it's not even fun, but I'll do my first lock of the year.
Oh, here it comes! Wow, already.
It's a lock that the Jaguars win this game. The question.
I'm locking it too, so you can make it a double lock. And by the way, I locked Jacksonville in the Super Bowl. So what the heck do I know?
Double lock.
Yeah, and so I always like playing opening day on the road, because anything can happen on opening day. And, I think the home field advantage is a little bit less, Pete, just because there's so much hype and unknown and excitement. And then you get that home opener week 2 against the Chiefs, which is a great home opener for us. Force them to come to the heat, come to Jacksonville. Fans will be rowdy. First time to see it. So this is huge. It's a division game. Those always count more. It's the first step, in defending the AFC South title that you had last year, and you are the better team. If you want to go win the division and have a chance to be the number 1 seed or a top seed in the playoffs, you have to win the games that you are clearly the better team. You have to win those, because there's going to be a handful that are a coin flip, like the following week when you play the Chiefs. That's a coin flip at home. And so you got to go win the ones that you're favored, and you're just flat the better team across the board.
Which should be in the majority of the games in the division and the majority of games in the NFC South.
That's right.
I don't know if you guys saw Peter King's column today, but I talked to him on the sideline in Green Bay and convinced him of why Jackson. Huh?
Uh-huh. So it was you.
Yeah. Well, he wrote that in the column. I'm the one who he even said it. I'm the one who made him think about it, and he went back and looked at it, and that's why he did it.
Guys, let's come back.
He didn't go as far as you, Pete. He doesn't have us going to the Super Bowl, though.
No, I do. Well, think about it. If you get to the point where you're the 1 seed, you have to win 2 games at home, and you're going to be in the Super Bowl. And I think by that time, the defense will have grown into something that it's better than what it's been. And it won't have to be great, because that offense is going to be great. The offense is going to be special, truly special. And if that's the case, you always say it, Tony, your 25 sacks between the 2 of them might come true, because they're going to be playing with the lead this year. That makes better pass rushers.
Hey, let's hear from one of those offensive pieces when we come back. Christian Kirk spoke with the media today, and if you're looking for the MVP of the truck game, look no further than Ford F-150. Loaded with impressive capability and designed to dominate work, play, and everything in between. This truck makes tough look easy. Your local Ford dealer, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. This Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamfindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
It's time for sunshine and summer showers, so it's more important than ever to make sure you call Crystal Clean for all your waterproofing needs. Waterproofing can extend the life of your building by keeping water outside where it belongs. And that Florida sun can beat up your business's paint job. Crystal Clean's painting services can bring your building back to life. From waterproofing to painting, schedule Crystal Clean today. Call 904-220-3337 or go to crystalclean.com. You don't have to worry when it's crystal clean.
Are you ready to elevate your tailgate experience, Jaguars fans? Citrus Distillers, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, is excited to announce the 2023 Jaguars Limited Edition Whiskey Bottle. Now available at Total Wine and other participating retailers. Elevate your tailgate experience, Jaguars fans. The 2023 Jaguars Limited Edition Whiskey Bottle. Duval!
Hey, Jags fans, Everbank is driven by performance, strength, and security. Start building your legacy today with Everbank's Yield Pledge accounts, all of which deliver a yield in the top 5% of competitive accounts nationwide. Visit everbank.com/Jaguars for your earned advantage. Everbank, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Taylor Dahl here for Renewal by Anderson. You will love your new custom windows and doors. For a limited time, buy 4 windows or patio doors and get the 5th free. The first 50 callers get a free upgrade to TrueScene window screens. Plus, easy payment plans tailored to fit your budget. Offer expires August 31st. Restrictions apply. Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit rbafla.com. License number CGC 1527613.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. If you're in the market for a full-size 8-passenger SUV, look no further than the Defender 130. And with the Defender 90, the 110, and this 130, there's luxury in the right size for everyone. Right, Sammy?
Plus, when you buy or lease from Land Rover Jacksonville, you'll become a member of the Fields Amenities Program with complimentary loaners, car washes, our cafe, and much more, all at no charge.
It's different in a sense of just the way that we operate. You just feel the efficiency, the effectiveness, and everybody's on the same page. Kind of talked about it a lot, this offseason of being able to see, tons of different looks and reps and being able to get time on task, having a full, season in this system. You come in now and it's kind of like you know it like the back of your hand. You know what you can get, what works and what doesn't work, and you know what we're trying to accomplish on each and every play. That's a big part. You may have a route and a concept that you may think is, a route that, you're trying to get somebody else open, or, you're trying to do, one thing, but it really has a great impact on what you're trying to accomplish. So I think for all of us, we got more of a grasp on what we like to do and what we're good at.
It's Christian Kirk, Jaguars wide receiver, speaking with the media this afternoon at the Miller Electric Center. And welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour, final moments of the opening hour of the program, presented by Jet Home Loans. JP Shadrick, Pete Prisco, Tony Boselli. Glad you're with us on 1010XL, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. And that's just kind of goes to what we were talking to, guys, about the offense. I mean, they're pretty good last year. But give them another year in the system together and adding a piece or two and just continuing to build upon that. And with the guy triggering it, Pete, I mean, come on, give me a break. Trevor's going to be awesome.
And the fact that they know it that much better. I mean, everybody's back. The only new guy is Ridley. I mean, that's basically the same group. And so that's where – and, Tony, you can talk about this because you lived it. And as you guys became more comfortable with your offense, how much better were you the next year and the next year?
Oh, because it becomes second nature. It's instinctive. It's instinctive in the you become instinctful. It's instinctive as you approach the game because things just JP, stop shaking your head at me. I don't need your little giggle thing because
it's unbelievable.
I immediately corrected it. I mean, the fact that you.
I didn't say anything. What did I say? I didn't say a word.
I could go back and listen to your stupid game you called and all the damn things you said that were dumb over a 3-hour period, which is plenty. Trust me, I've listened before. And anyone who does that for a living has a number of things they say are like, oops, that was not my best. But you like taking shots.
Well, I didn't take a shot. I didn't say anything. I'm just sitting here.
Yeah, but you could see the shot.
I don't care. I was smiling. I can't smile. I like the point you were making. What is that? I didn't.
No, that was a visual shot, which was. It was. Hey, JP. It was warranted, though.
Yes, it was, Pete. I didn't want to say so. Come on, I'm trying to help our guy out.
Oh my gosh, I corrected it. First of all, you become very instinctive. And as far as the game plan, you're not doing as much thinking. And so what Christian Kirk said is exactly right. You're in the system, you know it. It's become second nature. But the biggest thing, let's just be clear, is Trevor Lawrence is more comfortable. He has more command of the offense. So think of how good he was at the back half of last season, and now he's going to grow from that platform. So he's going to, because listen, he has all the athletic ability. He has every tool you need in the toolbox to be the best quarterback in the NFL, including what's between the ears and the toughness and the leadership. And so now you're give him year 2 in the same system with a great offensive coaching staff, with weapons around him and a good offensive line. Watch out. I think that
MVP.
And this is where I got ripped. I've got ripped in this offseason with 2 things I said. One is the 23 to 25 sacks, which is Pete mentioned it. One of the reasons I believe that, because I think this offense is going to be explosive and they're going to be playing with leads all day. All day.
So you can, in those kind of scenarios, you can almost fall into those 23, 25 sacks.
They're going to get 25% more opportunities this year.
And by the way, if you have a number 1 overall pick and a top 10 pick on the other side, you should have 23 to 25 sacks between the two of you when you're playing with a lead.
So and the second thing I got ripped for is I said on the morning show with Dan and Jeff on 1010, I said I think this will be the best, most prolific offense in the history of the franchise.
You said that here last week.
Yeah,
I know, but you and JP are smart enough to understand what that means and how I'm saying it. Where Dan and Jeff, or Dan, I should say, immediately go to, Jimmy, Calvin Ridley's not better than Jimmy. Their tackles aren't better than you and Leon. Etienne's not better than Fred. I said, I never said that.
No.
I said, first of all,
you said that this is not the most talented. It's going to be the most prolific.
Big difference.
Best the offense in the history of this franchise.
Big difference. Back in a moment. Second hour of the program coming up, including Fanatics fan questions. It is Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamfindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium, because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
It's football season and time to take your game to the next level with a Ford F-150 truck. Light up your tailgate with an available Pro Power onboard generator. And with an available 3.5-liter EcoBoost engine, you can tow just about anything you need to rule the stadium lot. Ford F-150, part of the F-Series lineup that have been the best-selling pickups for 46 straight years. Get to your local Ford store today. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Your hometown gate now has more ways to save. Introducing My Gate Rewards, a new loyalty program with member-exclusive savings and fuel discounts. Earn points on in-store purchases, take advantage of special offers, and save on products you love. Score free coffee, fountain drinks, pizza, and soft serve with Gates frequent shopper clubs. Then use your points on savings at the pump. Download the My Gate Rewards app in the App Store today or ask a store associate for more information. Go from good to Gate.
Have you noticed? It's raining a lot in our area lately. That means you can give your sprinklers a break and save some money in the process. Lawns only need water up to twice a week, and that can come from rain. So before you run your sprinklers, remember to watch the weather and wait to water. For more information, visit waterlessflorida.com.
As the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Publix is helping fans gear up for game day with the limited-time Jaguar sub. Piled high with hot deli chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, cheddar cheese, coleslaw, and barbecue mayonnaise on a white sub roll. The Jaguar sub is an easy, delicious meal for any fan. Make it an ultimate game day by ordering the Jaguar sub online for in-store pickup. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Obviously, we know we got the quarterback. We feel like we got the skill, around him. And the pieces are there, obviously, but it's a long season, and injury plays a part of this game. And I don't look past today, honestly. Get through today, and then focus on next Monday, and get the guys back in here. And the one thing I will say though with this team is they're in the right frame of mind. They're leaving today for the holiday weekend, eager to get ready and really. Put training camp behind us and start, focusing in on the regular season. So I'm excited about that. But as far as where we can end up, that's way too early to tell.
Head coach Doug Peterson this past Thursday. Welcome back. It's hour 2 of Jaguars Happy Hour on Monday, presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings from the Hyundai Studios inside the Miller Electric Center. JP Shadrick, Pete Prisco, Tony Boselli. The Jaguars cut the roster down to 53 last Tuesday afternoon. One of the highlights, one of the surprises, 7 wide receivers on the roster, 3 tight ends, 8 offensive linemen made it through the cut. After that, players had Friday, Saturday, Sunday off for the holiday weekend, back to work today to get back into it ahead of the Week 1 game coming up Sunday at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis against the division rival Colts. Last year, the Jaguars split the series with the Colts with a big win, of course, early in the season here in Jacksonville, 24-0. They shut them out. In Week 2, the Jags defense forced 3 Matt Ryan interceptions that day. Matt Ryan's doing TV for CBS this year. Lawrence with 2 touchdown passes, both to Christian Kirk. And then Week 6 in Indianapolis, the Colts scored a late touchdown, 17 seconds left in the fourth quarter to take the lead for good. That was over Shaq Griffin, who's now in Houston. The Jaguars rushed for 243 yards in that game and lost. 6th best total in team history. Well, now the Jags have not fared well in Indy all time, of course. Indy's been very good over the years. But the high points scored for the Jaguars in Indianapolis at either stadium, the RCA Dome or Lucas Oil Stadium, is 27 points, 3 different times. And they'll see if they can get close to that, surpass that this week. They scored 26 another time, 25 another. In those 27-point performances, the Jaguars 2-1 in games played in Indianapolis. Pete Prisco, Tony Boselli joining us now. A lot coming up this week, of course, as the Jaguars get ready for week number 1. So here we are, finally, on the doorstep of the season, guys. It's been a long, long off season, and actual real football, Pete, is straight ahead. Thursday night, the kickoff game, right? The Chiefs and the Lions.
I'm ready for real football, man. I'll tell you what. When you get to training camp, you get excited. You travel around. I travel around. I go see teams. I get excited. Then you get to preseason. You see about a half, and you're like, okay, let's move on. And then you got 2 weeks afterwards. I mean, it's with just transactional stuff. You don't see any football, and so I'm ready for some NFL football. By the way, Jacksonville hasn't scored more than 27 in Indy. When? What did you say? The last time they did that?
Last year they scored 27 and lost.
Yeah, but when was the last time they scored 27 up there and won?
It's been a minute. Let's look at that again. 2017.
Yeah. Well, they're going to score more than 27 and win this week. How about that? I think they scored 34 up there this week.
Sounds good to me.
Trevor's going to get his MVP season underway quickly.
Hey, Pete, well, I agree. I mean, I think they'll score a bunch of points. That's actually a shocking statistic when you think about it. The most they've ever scored in Indianapolis is 27, especially over the last several years where this league is set up to score points. It's just shocking when you think about it that way.
Yeah, but when was the last time they had a really good offense, though?
But that's that's my whole point. It's shocking that we've been that mediocre at offense. We're poor. Pete, what'd you do on your last weekend off until Super Bowl Sunday?
I watched college football on Saturday.
Who'd you watch?
And then I went to the beach on Sunday. What did you do?
Yeah.
You watched college football?
Went to college football on Saturday and then sat at the beach yesterday on Sunday.
Yeah. So you did the same thing. I was on one
Yeah.
coast, you were on the other. You were in the cold water. Did you get in?
Heck no. My son was with me. He's like, hey, you want to go body surfing? I'm like, not a chance.
It's too cold.
No,
Man, that
I'm too
California
old.
water's too cold too. Plus, there's a million
used-
sharks in that California water.
That doesn't worry me. I used to swim in that when I was a kid, growing up, coming here all the time, and then in college, living here 5 years, we go to the beach all the time. I mean, I would go swimming in March in the ocean. It'd be like 60 degrees.
Did you go put your feet in it at least yesterday?
No.
No?
Nope.
You didn't even do that?
No. I sat on the chair, watched the sunset, and talked to my wife, my son, my stepmom, listened to some music, and hung out. And then went to Javier's.
It's a pretty good day.
It was a good day.
I was in the water a lot yesterday. It was rough. You know, usually the water down here isn't rough. It's calm as can be. It was rough yesterday for some reason. I don't know why, but it was.
Well,
I love the beach. I could sit on the beach all day.
Me and you both, Pete. I'm a beach guy.
It's a good beach to sit on down there, Pete.
It's gorgeous.
Fort
It really
Lauderdale.
is. It's gorgeous. The water, you know what? And I've traveled to a lot of the Caribbean islands. When the water's at its best here, it's as good as any Caribbean island, any of them. And I've been to a lot of them. So, yeah, it's definitely different. Plus, it's so clear you can see the sharks when they swim up on you.
That's
Tony.
right. They won't sneak up on you.
You know, I had one.
You can't.
One
You
time
can,
I was.
you know, you can hear the music though, so that would be
You
a
know,
dead giveaway, right?
JP, I was at Fernandina once with my brothers. They were visiting me. We were up there in the water, and I had a shark brush me in the water, and I was like, "Oh no, time to get out of here," because you can't see up there. The water's a little darker.
No,
It's a little murky because of the inlet there, the river coming in.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to Indy, JP.
Yeah.
Listen, opening day, it's a little bit of unknown. I mean, we think we know. And yes, I have supreme confidence in this offense just to get rolling and just light up the Colts. But I will a word of caution. I've locked it. Pete's locked it. Crazy things happen on opening day. Teams you think have no business of winning a game, win a game, and they end up being terrible for the rest of the year. And teams that end up going to the playoffs stub their toe early.
Yeah, because you can pull out a play that you haven't scouted or they haven't seen anywhere, and they can draw something up, right? That hey, it might work for you once.
It's drawn up, but like Indianapolis is a great example. We have no idea what they're going to do with Anthony Richardson. You think they showed anything in preseason of actually what they're going to do?
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to last year and see a playoff team who lost to a non-playoff team in week 1. Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, we lost to the Commanders.
Should have won that
The
game.
Eagles barely beat the Lions last year on opening day.
Yep.
Who else?
And I believe the Lions had a big lead, or no, they were down and then came back.
Yeah. The Steelers beat the Bengals on opening day in Cincinnati last year.
Did, yes.
If I'm not mistaken, Pete, weren't the Bengals 0-2 last year?
Yeah. And then where else? I'm just trying to look. That's about it on opening day last year. But no, the Bucs beat the Cowboys on opening day last year.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing that things happen the way they do sometimes. I mean, the Bucs ended up not being a really good team last year, and the Cowboys they weren't great either though. But you're right though. Anything can happen on opening day. I think that's where coaching comes in a big way, Tony. Don't you? Don't you think the good coach usually will have his team I always worry about even the good teams when they have a game on the road in like week 3 after winning a couple. Those are the ones I worry about. More so than on opening day if you have a good coach.
Yeah, but take the Bengals. I think they're well coached. I think Zach Taylor's a good coach. They have a great quarterback in Joe Burrow.
But remember he missed time last year with the what did he have? He had the appendectomy, and he almost never played in the preseason, barely at all. So he was like, that had something to do with it.
No, but my point is, I mean, you look at the history of the league. There's always some. Let me put it this way, Pete. I guarantee you, if you go down the list of games on this coming Sunday, this weekend, there'll be one or two shocking, like you're like, oh my gosh, I would have never thought that team would beat that team.
I agree.
And I do not think it's going to be the Colts. I'm not worried about that. But just a word of caution, it's opening weekend in the NFL. And trust me, Doug and this coaching staff are not taking this – no one's taking it lightly. No one's saying we're better than the Colts. Let's roll the ball out there and let's go, figure it out and we'll go win the game. We have Trevor Lawrence and this great offense. So, but I have a sense, Pete, I think this is a 10 to 14-point victory for the Jags.
You want to lock that too, or just the win?
I mean, I'll lock whatever you want. I'm locking the win if it makes you feel better to lock the actual.
I'm just curious.
Point differential.
Calling your shot.
I'm happy to do that.
You're calling your shot there.
But again, when they've beat in the past, when they've dominated the Colts, it's always been by blasting the Colts, going back to by running it down their throat and stuff. I don't think that's. I mean, they'll run the ball, but I don't think that's who this team is anymore.
No.
So. Is this the game where they go up and throw? Trevor Lawrence throws for 350 and 3 touchdowns, and they score the win by 10 to 14, like you're saying. I think that's who they are now. But you're right. He's gonna have to be patient, Tony. He's gonna have to be because Gus is gonna make him be patient. The problem with that scenario is in a lot of the spots where Gus was and he allowed teams to be patient, he had Bosa, he had. Crosby, he doesn't have that in Indianapolis. He has that. Where's his elite pass rusher? He doesn't have one.
He doesn't have one.
I mean, Buckner's a good player, but he's not an elite edge player. You know what I mean?
What is their best pass rush was probably Kwity Paye?
It's not a good group. I mean, it just isn't. They've drafted so many guys there, and it hadn't worked out. They got the kid from Ebukam from the Rams. He's just a guy. I mean, who else? They don't have anything. It's not a good group from rushing passer standpoint, which is why I think Trevor Lawrence should have a field. Not only that, you're starting a rookie corner.
They have all kind of corner issues at depth at corner, all kinds of issues.
Yeah, I mean, they're banged up back there. Who are they going to start? I mean, they're going to start Dallas Flowers, maybe? Juju Brand. If Jacksonville doesn't roll up a big number in the passing game, I will be astounded.
Yeah, you will.
But patience has to be important, no doubt. Well, no doubt, patience is key.
And they've got the personnel to go down the field slowly if they need to, right? They got the tight end, they got the slot player, they got the running game.
Well, the way Trevor Lawrence plays now with the ball getting to the right, knowing where to go, and those quick throws and everything. If they're going to play him like that, he'll just take it.
Absolutely.
Well, and I do think I think the run game will be good too. I'm looking forward to seeing Etienne and Bigsby and how they kind of roll those guys through, and because I think both of them look good in the preseason. And so I think Pete, I actually think this might be a little bit more balanced than we thought on Sunday because of how Gus wants to play a defense. I wouldn't be surprised if you
if you're playing off, they're daring you to run, you run, then they come down, then you throw the shots over the top. I get it. I understand that. But here's the other thing. This team now is fast. Jacksonville's fast on offense. It's a fast offense. The tight end's fast for a tight end. Ridley's fast. Etienne's fast. They're fast. Zay Jones can fly. And on that turf, that should play to that speed because you're even faster. So I think that's why they'll take it. You're right, though. They might have to run a little bit to take them out of that and then hit them with the shots down the field. But the way they design the offense, Tony, you talk about it all the time. They make it so easy on the lineman, on the quarterback. The ball's out. It's hard to rush the passer.
Well, they move the pocket, a lot of play action, zone reads. It'll be Pete, and we'll talk about this next Monday. And I'll count it up, and if you get a chance to watch the film before Monday, you do the same thing. How many times do they drop back, a straight drop back pass on first or second down? If it's more than 5 times, now the only chance it's more than 5 times the entire game is if they're in a bunch of 2nd and 8 or longer situations.
Or if they're behind, or if they were behind.
Or if they're behind. If they stay on schedule, it could be 0. Like they do not straight drop back first and second down.
JP, do you have Trevor's numbers last year against the Colts? Because that'd be interesting to see how he was against Gus last year, and just if you pop him up real quick.
Yes, I can do that. Yes, I can absolutely do that real quick.
Because I think that would be interesting to see. Because again, Tony, you talk about what they used to do to Mahomes. And early in Mahomes' career, he used to hate it. Remember, he wasn't patient. It bothered him.
Yep.
He had some of his worst games against Gus's defense. But as he got older, he realized, okay, I can take this, I can take this, I can take that. And that's where he is now.
All right, here we go. Week 2, Jaguars hosting Indy.
That one doesn't count because he's still using the Urban Meyer enema going there, so that one doesn't count.
He was 25 of 30 in the game, by the way. 235 yards with 2 touchdowns. Oh, gosh, Pete. I love you, man. 121.
You got to get it out of him.
121 rating in the game. And then at Indy, 20 of 22 passing, 165 through the air, 1 touchdown. Efficient, but they ran the ball. They ran the daylights out of it that day.
Yeah, so he didn't have to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, they lost, but they did run the ball a bunch. So
again, that's a game they should have won that game.
Let's see. He was 45 of 52 against the Colts last year.
Well, that tells you, Tony, that goes back to what we were just saying about being patient, getting the ball out.
Exactly right.
Hey, let's come back. We'll keep it real when we come back. How about that?
We haven't yet.
Oh, no, we haven't yet, Tony. We're an hour and 15 in, and we have not yet. Just wait about 3 minutes, and we will. PRI Productions, the official event production company of the Jags, has everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com. It's Jaguars Happy Hour, presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Reconnect with the best version of you at Amara Med Spa, Northeast Florida's premier luxury medical spa, located in Ponte Vedra, Town Center, Avondale, St. Augustine, and Fernandina. With the most advanced injectors, estheticians, and technology, Amara Med Spa is redefining beauty, offering services such as Botox and filler, M-Sculpt Neo, painless laser hair removal, and advanced skincare treatments. Visit theamaramedspa.com and book a complimentary consultation today.
Your hometown gate now has more ways to save. Introducing My Gate Rewards, a new loyalty program with member-exclusive savings and fuel discounts. Earn points on in-store purchases, take advantage of special offers, and save on products you love. Score free coffee, fountain drinks, pizza, and soft serve with Gates frequent shopper clubs. Then use your points on savings at the pump. Download the My Gate Rewards app in the App Store today or ask a store associate for more information. Go from good to Gate.
It's football season and time to take your game to the next level with a Ford F-150 truck. Light up your tailgate with an available Pro Power onboard generator. And with an available 3.5-liter EcoBoost engine, you can tow just about anything you need to rule the stadium lot. Ford F-150, part of the F-Series lineup that have been the best-selling pickups for 46 straight years. Get to your local Ford store today. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey Jaguars fans, it's always game on with Dunkin'. So grab a coffee and kick off the action, whether that's drinking a cup of coffee on your way to the game or grabbing one to go before watching at home. Dunkin' is always there to help you get your game on. Just like the pros, we need to be at our best come game time, which is why Dunkin' is the most important part of your game day ritual, because it's always the best call for football. America runs on Dunkin'. The 2023 season is awesome. Introducing the Four-Legged Fan Club, the Jaguars' official fan club for pets. Presented by Forever Vets Animal Hospital. Your furry friend can access exclusive merchandise, events, and sweepstakes throughout the season. Fan club members will be automatically entered to win the Pet of the Game sweepstakes with 2 Jags tickets and sideline passes for pet owners and a chance for your pet to be featured on the video boards as Pet of the Game. Visit Jaguars.com/promotions/4-legged fan club to sign up.
Caleb on, coming off of last season, the growth and the potential that he had from last season going into this off season, and you see a guy that understands the defense. He's a great, in setting an edge in the run game. He gives you some really good pass rush, and a veteran player, and Yazir, just a young, athletic, quick, still learning, very raw, at the position, but somebody that can come in and really give you a change of pace, edge rusher, and that's what we're going to see and use him, in that situation.
Doug Peterson, Jaguars head coach, discussing Caleb Chazon and Yasir Abdullah. And welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on a Monday, presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings, JP Shadrick, Tony Boselli, Pete Prisco. Glad you're along with us on this Labor Day. Hope you're enjoying the afternoon. Nice weather out today to get out on the boat, wherever you may be, enjoying some festivities. Final, kind of the end of summer. It's still warm out, but it's what it is, the traditional end of summer, Labor Day weekend. It's time now to Keep It Real, presented by Woodbridge by Robert Mondavi. Open up a winner today. Real Ingredients, award-winning wine by Robert Mondavi. Our topic today, defense. Who is the best defensive player for the Jaguars?
The most consistent is Aluakon. He's the most consistent. The best, I think Tyson Campbell.
I would say it's between Tyson Campbell.
I'll give you another name, Pete. I'll give you another name that made some of the biggest plays all last year on defense, Rayshon Jenkins.
Yeah, but he's not. He's a feast or famine in my book.
Yeah. But on a defense that lived feast or famine and needed those big plays.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I would say.
No, I said Tyson Campbell. I'm just saying.
What about if Hamilton was healthy?
Well, he probably had the best camp. But
what about Roy Robertson Harris when he's playing at his best?
Roy Robertson Harris at the beginning part and the end part of last season was a big factor on that defense.
Right. So if he plays like that, is he one of the? Tyson Campbell's the best one.
Josh Allen, the last month of the season, was impactful. If he can do that.
Look, Josh Allen or Trayvon Walker have to be in the conversation for best defensive player on the roster this year. Period. They have to be.
Yeah, if you talk potential, those two guys are at the top of the list, but you just got to realize it because, you said it, JP, at the end of the year, Josh Allen was great.
Well, he's getting 15 sacks, and Trayvon Walker's getting 10, according to you.
Wow, then it's a real toss-up.
Or 13 and 12.
If you got 13,
12 and a half, 12 and a half.
If they get 13 and 12, then that'll be a special season for that defense.
I agree.
So, yeah, the problem with when you ask that question, JP, and it's a good question, is there's no clear-cut answer. And I think on most defenses, particularly on the good defenses, there is a clear-cut answer.
Absolutely.
For example, if you go to the Cowboys, Micah Parsons.
No doubt.
You go to the 49ers, Nick Bosa. You go to the Steelers, TJ Watt. Usually there's a clear-cut answer. Now, it's not always the case, but the majority of the time it is.
What about the Ravens, Pete?
They don't have a great defense. There's a myth in there. They don't have great pass rushers.
Weird to
say. They got hopeful. They got Jacksonville hopefuls like Ojabo. They think he's going to be a good player, but they don't know.
Yeah. How about the Bengals? Probably Bates the safety.
Well, he's gone though. So who would it be now?
Oh, that's right.
He's in Atlanta. DJ Reader's a good player. He doesn't get credit for being a good player. Hendrickson?
Hendrickson or the linebacker.
Logan Wilson. But there's no clear-cut one there. So, yeah, you're right. There's no clear-cut one there. Like in Miami, if Miami, everybody's healthy, Jalen Ramsey's the best defensive player on Miami's defense.
Yeah.
But he's not out there.
No. So their best I think their best defenders, well, probably Christian Wilkins, but I think Jalen Phillips will be by the end of this year.
Well, this is why the Jets are going to be a really good defense. Is it Quentin Williams? Is it Sauce Gardner? Is it, who's the best defensive player on that team?
They got levels.
They're not very good at they're not great at linebacker though.
But is the old Raven still there?
He's okay. Mosley, he's okay.
Mosley, he's a good player, Pete.
And then the other Quincy Williams is the other starter.
Quincy.
Yeah.
And then they have a boatload of guys. Even if they're not household names, they have a boatload of guys up front that just roll them in. Like John Franklin Myers is a good player. Nobody even knows who he is. He's a good player. The Jermaine Johnson from FSU. I mean, they're loaded up front. And DJ Reed's a good corner too. They're not very good at safety. They're average at safety. I mean, they're going to be good if we're going to be based on getting after the quarterback, which is what Salah's defense usually are. They'll be good on defense.
Yeah, but it's a great question for this defense.
It really is, because there is nobody.
I think it's Tyson Campbell. He is the best, most consistent, big play guy they have.
Okay. Is Tyson Campbell a top 10 corner in the NFL?
Probably not if he went through it.
Right. He's not. He's pushing it, maybe a 10, 11, somewhere. Could he be after the season? Maybe. But that's just it. They don't have a dominant defensive player.
Can this group as a whole, with all the continuity back and the play calling all taking a step together, overcome that? Or just can somebody grow out of that?
Because I think they have a lot of good football players on defense, JP. Like Pete and I've said this. Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen are good football players. They're just not the impactful pass rushers that you on a consistent basis that disrupt the game. I say it all the time. On defense, and today, especially today, I think it's always been like this at some level, but I think it's more important today than ever. You have to have that one disruptor, the one guy that keeps you up at night, that can just change a game all by himself. And, and most of the time that's a guy up front, like a Bosa or a TJ Watt or, one of those guys, a Von Miller type of player. But at corner, I mean, I know that everyone hates this guy more than anybody, Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey, when he's healthy at his top, he changes how you can play defense because of the way he can cover. And and you look at the Rams and used a nickel outside, doing a bunch of different stuff. I mean, he has a skill set that's so unique that he changes how you can play. I mean, you go back to the great Ravens defense. Now they had every level a bunch of good players, but like Ed Reed at safety. I mean, he disrupted the entire game and how you played, and how you had to identify him. You had to find out where he was on the field, Troy Polamalu. And so it's always easier to pick those pass rushers out because they jump off. But there's guys that disrupt an offense. And I don't think we have that guy today on our defense. I think we have guys who have the potential to do that, but potential is not worth much until you fulfill it. And I believe as much as anybody in Trayvon and Josh, based on what I said about the number of sacks they're going to get this year. But they got to go do it. Now, if they do that and they become 12, 13, 14 sack guys, okay. If you look at this defense, the last guy that was really that guy for us was Calais Campbell. I mean, Calais Campbell disrupted offenses in 17.
Yes, he did. From an interior. It's like Chris Jones does it for the Chiefs.
Chris Jones, there's a great example. And by the way, they're going to struggle to stop people until they get him back.
Aaron Donald.
Oh, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right, but I'm saying you're right. They could be defensive linemen. Micah Parsons is from the edge now. He's an edge player. They're making him strictly an edge player, which I think is smart. But you don't have one on this defense yet. There's not one.
That was Keeping It Real, presented by Woodbridge by Robert Mondavi. Open up a winner today. Real Ingredients, award-winning wine by Robert Mondavi. I'll take credit for that question, by the way.
That was a good question, JP.
Very good question.
Thank you. Appreciate that. We're back in a moment. Fanatics fan questions right around the corner. And, boy, we've got some good ones. Again today, even on Labor Day, it's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dream Finders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dream Finders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dream Finders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamFindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
Everyone wins when two great traditions team up. Yucatan Guacamole is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Our authentic guacamole recipe starts with hand-scooped avocados and ends up in your hands fresh and ready to enjoy. Grab some on game day at the Yucatan Cantina or Yucatan Nacho Carts around the stadium or at local retail stores. Sack your snack game with Yucatan Guacamole.
The 2023 season is awesome. Introducing the Four-Legged Fan Club, the Jaguars' official fan club for pets. Presented by Forever Vets Animal Hospital, your furry friend can access exclusive merchandise, events, and sweepstakes throughout the season. Fan club members will be automatically entered to win the Pet of the Game sweepstakes with 2 Jags tickets and sideline passes for pet owners and the chance for your pet to be featured on the video boards as Pet of the Game. Visit Jaguars.com/promotions/Four-Legged Fan Club to sign up. In partnership with Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation, any Jaguars ticket holders who are unable to attend a Jaguars home game can donate their future tickets to a Jacksonville area first responder. Visit Jaguars.com/members and click Manage Account. Sign into your account and click Manage Tickets and Parking. Select the game tickets, click on the More button, and then choose to donate to the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation. Firehouse Subs is dedicated to impacting the life-saving capabilities and the lives of local heroes and communities. For more information, visit FirehouseSubsFoundation.org. Hey Jaguars fans, it's always game on with Dunkin'. So grab a coffee and kick off the action, whether that's drinking a cup of coffee on your way to the game or grabbing one to go before watching at home. Dunkin' is always there to help you get your game on. Just like the pros, we need to be at our best come game time, which is why Dunkin' is the most important part of your game day ritual, because it's always the best call for football. America runs on Dunkin'.
We feel good about all three of them, obviously. Good enough to keep them on the 53 and feel good about their upside. Greg Jr.'s competing for that nickel spot right now. Monteric's done some very good things through camp and has earned that spot. And, Christian, a very talented young guy. He had a little injury bug early on, so he missed some time, but really excited about his potential.
Trent Baalke, Jaguars general manager, last Thursday, discussing 3 young corners who made the roster. And welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour, our second hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings. JP Shadrick with Pete Prisco and Tony Boselli. And it's time now for the Fanatics fan questions. Jags fans, gear up at Fanatics.com with all latest Jag styles. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything. We always put the cat signal out on X. Here are the best posts we've come up with today. At Totally Chad, with Ridley as the true wide receiver 1, how do you think other receivers will handle not getting as many targets? And what do you think Doug Peterson may be doing to help mitigate any possible issues?
I don't think this is an issue, Pete, with this group. I don't sense that at all.
First off, it's an issue with every receiver, but it's not going to be a major issue.
Sure, and I think especially if you're winning. Now, if they're not winning and not having success, that's where you get, trouble. But if they're winning, having success, moving the ball, listen, there's always going to be, comments. I mean, heck, when we were good, Keenan and Jimmy, and there was only 2 of them, Keenan was never covered. That was Pete's line. Keenan's always open.
Yeah, but not only that, Keenan, and he would never admit this. Osher will back me up on this. Keenan was a happier receiver when he caught 10 for 120 and 2 touchdowns and they lost than he was when he went 2 for 17 and you won. He would never admit that because that's just human nature. You want to win, but come on. I mean, receivers want the ball. They always have. But is it going to be a problem with this group? Not as long as you're winning, and I don't think the quarterback will allow it to become a problem. It wasn't a problem with Keenan. He just bitched and moaned about it, and Jimmy would bitch and moan about it too, but they never made it an issue.
No, Pete's right. It's in the nature of every receiver want the ball. I get it. I mean, every position has little nuances like that. I mean, offensive linemen want to run the ball, and you hear us yelling at the sidelines, call the run, and so I just don't sense that from this group. I mean, you listen to Christian Kirk talk. I mean, Zay Jones, these guys are team guys. I think Ridley's a guy who's coming back after a tough 2 years, what he's gone through. I think he's happy to be back and playing. Now, do I think that Doug's going to be aware and he's going to make sure that guys have plays called for them where they get the ball to certain guys during the game? Absolutely.
What are the numbers for the receivers this year? Give me numbers.
I like that.
I think Ridley has 90 in the 90 range. I think Kirk has in the 80 range. Zay Jones has, high 60s. And then I think Evan Ingram's in the 50s, 60s.
It's a lot of catches.
So I mean, how many completions did Trevor have last year?
Last year, Trevor Lawrence had a total of 387 completions.
Okay, so 90.
But so 300 and how many?
387.
What was his completion percentage?
66%.
So I think that'll be over 400, Pete, this year. So let's just say it's 400 receptions.
Okay.
Round number.
Okay, so 90 to Ridley. 80 to 170.
That's 170.
What'd you say for Ingram?
I call that's 180.
That's 170, and then
170. Call it 60 for Ingram and Zay. So now you're at 290. And you have another 110 for the rest of the backs.
Yeah, the backs will get 45. Yeah, maybe. But I don't think it's going to be. I think it's more for Ridley. It'll be 90 and a lot of big plays. Where I think for Kirk it'll be 80 and more of the stuff in the middle of the field. And Zay's might have more big plays down the field and less catches. Don't you agree?
Yeah, but, I mean, Zay, they like running Zay across on the drags and the different things and the deep overs, and Ingram's on the move all the time. I mean, if you just those 4 receivers, that's 390. 290 receptions. From
then you get a couple of extra tight ends, the extra tight ends.
Yeah, I don't think that's realistic at all. Now, I also could see a year where if Kirk and Ridley go off, both have 90, and maybe because here's the other thing: if those guys are rolling, they're going to get more reps, and the other guys aren't going to get in the game. You'll have those 3 receivers rolling for most of the game.
Just for reference, by the way, last year Christian Kirk 84, Zay Jones 82 catches, Ingram 73 catches, Marvin Jones Jr. had 46.
So the fourth receiver in this group is going to be one of the Zay Jones, or the tight end is going to get the fourth amount of catches, you would think.
Yeah. I think it'll probably be Zay.
What the backs have?
ETN had 35 catches. Hasty had 20.
So there's 55 to the backs. What about Agnew?
Agnew had 23 catches.
So, those little gimmick shovel passes count as passes too, and all that. So yeah, you're probably 90 is right, but see, for mine is 90. I said for Ridley 90 for a big yardage chunks and a lot of touchdowns. I think he's going to have 10 or 11, 12 touchdowns, 13, and then Kirk will have. What do you have last year, touchdown wise?
Let's see. Christian Kirk had 8.
Yeah, he'll get in that ballpark, 8, 9, 10.
Well, because I mean, Trevor's gonna have more touchdown passes this year than last year.
I think he's going to throw 35 to 38, maybe 38, something like that, 37. So spread those around. You get 10, 11, 12 to Ridley. You get 8, 9, 10 to Kirk. Now you're at 20-ish. Then you get Ingram will catch. How many did he catch last year? He'll be better. So
Ingram had 4. He had 4, and it took him a while to get those.
You'll have 7 this year.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're at 27 or 26.
Zay will have 5 or 6.
Yeah. Now you're at 31. Backs will have a couple. So yeah, you might throw one or two to the backup tight end when he gets free. So you're talking
Agnew could have a couple.
Right. So you're going to have 36, 37 touchdown passes.
Next question at Trevorville. Pete, why is Peter King copying you? When was the last time he favored the Jaguars to be the number 1 seed?
Our good buddy Mark Long sent me a thing where they asked a Luacon, I guess, about Peter King picking them to have the number 1 seed. And Gene Fournette asked the question. Yes. I picked them to go to the damn Super Bowl, Gene. And Peter King got that idea from me when I was standing on the you can read the story. I was standing on the sideline with Peter King at Green Bay, and I said Jacksonville's schedule is favorable to be the 1 seed. They will be the 1 seed. Just Pete, like I said.
Pete, it sounds like you Gene Fournette believes that Peter King's just a bigger deal than you, and he's going to name drop Peter King and not Pete Prisco. You're kind of secondary in the mind of Gene Fournette.
Sounds like it to me.
In Gene's mind, I still think he thinks I'm at the Times Union.
I'm not even sure he knows you're in the media anymore, Pete.
Gene, by the way, I saw the other day, Gene celebrated 42 years or whatever at the Times Union. It was his anniversary. Who knew he started when he was 40? I sent that out on Twitter. He didn't like that. But I love Gene. Media crime. Oh, always. But yeah, that's where Peter King, he wrote it in the column. He got the idea from me. They all follow my lead, Tony. They all follow my lead.
He's a trailblazer, that Pete Prisco.
Everyone but Gene Fournette. He doesn't even know you exist.
I mean, we've been saying it I said it on our national TV on CBS Sports Network. I said it on here a bunch of different times. And I didn't just say they're going to have the 1 seed. I said they're going to the Super Bowl.
You did. I was here for it, Pete.
Yep.
Let's get a couple more in. This is from @TonyB's Henchman. If the Jaguars allow more than 21 points to the rookie quarterback making his first start, is that cause for concern with this defense?
No, I don't think. I mean, I don't think they're going to score more than 21. But if they do, as long as we win, I don't care. I mean, it's week 1.
What if it's 40? What if it's 40 to 17 and they score a late touchdown or something? It just depends on how it happens. Is it an accident play where he scrambles around and finds an open guy? If they move the ball consistently, that would be cause for concern.
I don't think, Pete, and you know this will be like this on Monday. It's overreaction Monday after week 1.
Yep, always.
I think you can't make any proclamations after week 1.
No.
You got to get through 2 or 3 weeks of the NFL season before you really know what's what and who's who. So I would not make any judgments regardless of what happens against the Colts.
Well, if they lost, you can start making some judgments.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
One final question. This is from @RenoHightower21. Did Pete stay up late to watch his Sun Devils in the Haboob Storm?
A, I don't have the Pac-12 network because it's like this network that nobody gets. And B, that game supposedly didn't get over till like 4 o'clock in the morning on the East, or 3 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast because of the 2.5-hour delay. And they were winning big. The delay happened, and they barely beat Southern Utah, which tells me it's going to be another garbage year in Tempe.
Imagine that.
But how about this, Pete? There's only one conference in the entire country that is undefeated after 2 weeks of college football, and that is the soon-to-be dismantled Pac-12.
There's one conference that will not exist next year.
So Pac-12.
Get it in while you can, I guess.
Well, you know what? They can score. Everybody in that conference can score a boatload of points, too. The quarterbacks can throw it around. I mean, you think about it. You got the kid at Penix at Washington. You got DJ that transferred from Clemson at Oregon State. You got your guy at USC.
Bo Nix at Oregon.
First of all, my guy is the best player in college football.
Without a doubt.
On the Heisman, easy.
No question.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of quarterbacks will be drafted out of that conference this year. There you have it. Hey, thanks for the questions. Fanatics fan questions today. The posts on X on Labor Day. And if you're a Jags fan who's always on the move, we've got the perfect plan for you. With the bundle at the bank, you can purchase tickets to 3 or more games starting at $58 per game. Get the flexibility you want for your time this fall. Visit jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. Final thoughts ahead as Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
As the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Publix is helping fans gear up for game day with the limited-time Jaguar sub. Piled high with hot deli chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, cheddar cheese, coleslaw, and barbecue mayonnaise on a white sub roll. The Jaguar sub is an easy, delicious meal for any fan. Make it an ultimate game day by ordering the Jaguar sub online for in-store pickup. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
The 2023 season is awesome. Introducing the Four-Legged Fan Club, the Jaguars' official fan club for pets. Presented by Forever Vets Animal Hospital, your furry friend can access exclusive merchandise, events, and sweepstakes throughout the season. Fan club members will be automatically entered to win the Pet of the Game sweepstakes with 2 Jags tickets and sideline passes for pet owners and a chance for your pet to be featured on the video boards as Pet of the Game. Visit jaguars.com/promotions/Four-Legged Fan Club to sign up. Crown Royals That Deserves a Crown program recognizes local heroes for making a positive impact in the community. The Jaguars and Crown Royal are giving back to those who served this season, celebrating these individuals with the ultimate VIP Jaguars home game experience. Nominate someone who deserves a crown today at jaguars.com/Crown Royal Promotion. Please drink responsibly.
Everyone wins when 2 great traditions team up. Yucatan Guacamole is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Our authentic guacamole recipe starts with hand-scooped avocados and ends up in your hands fresh and ready to enjoy. Grab some on game day at the Yucatan Cantina or Yucatan nacho carts around the stadium or at local retail stores. Sack your snack game with Yucatan Guacamole.
Reconnect with the best version of you at Amara Med Spa, Northeast Florida's premier luxury medical spa, located in Ponte Vedra, Town Center, Avondale, St. Augustine, and Fernandina. With the most advanced injectors, estheticians, and technology, Amara Med Spa is redefining beauty, offering services such as Botox and filler, M-Sculpt Neo, painless laser hair removal, and advanced skincare treatments. Visit theamaramedspa.com and book a complimentary consultation today.
We're back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings from the Hyundai Studios at the Miller Electric Center just outside Everbank Stadium. JP Shadrick, Pete Prisco, Tony Boselli with us as they are each and every Monday. And Jaguars football is back. Be there for the highly anticipated 2023 home opener Sunday, September 17th. The Jaguars entertain the defending champs, the Kansas City Chiefs. Grab your tickets, jaguars.com/tickets or 904-633-2000. And be sure, Tony, that day to wear teal. It is a teal out at the bank in week 2.
That place is going to be rocking that day.
Unbelievable. Can't wait.
I mean, you got the Super Bowl champs. You got Patrick Mahomes. You know, and I think they're going to beat the Lions on Thursday, so they'll have won their opener. And it's going to be probably 140 degrees in that place.
Hope so.
Well, that's good. I mean, because, the Chiefs haven't practiced. I mean, it's been hot around the country,
hot.
but it hasn't been like it's in Jacksonville. I can tell you that right now.
It is hot everywhere. I mean, yes.
Yeah, but there's a different – believe me, I live in South Florida. Coming to Jacksonville for training camp, it's so much hotter. It really is.
You know what was not hot was Detroit. Detroit was beautiful. It's unbelievable.
It was perfect weather up there.
Was it in the 70s, 80s?
It was like 53 in the morning and then 78 or something.
It was just perfect weather. Just a perfect summer day in Detroit, Michigan.
So, and I'm sure Kansas City got a lot of days like that in training camp. Or some, anyways.
Dallas was cooling off the other day. Dallas was down to 99 degrees the other day.
Tony, when you used to play early season games at the stadium and teams would come from the north or maybe Pittsburgh, you played them early, could you tell that it was affecting those guys?
Especially if you're running the ball, getting after them. I mean, but again, Pete, it goes back to training camp was different back then. We had 2-a-days. We had a practice in the morning. We had a practice in the heat of the afternoon, full pads going at it. These guys had some hot days. But they also practice in the morning a lot, and they, use the indoor facility at times later in camp, and his camp broke. So, I mean, I still think it is an advantage because you're just used to it, living in it day in and day out. But I don't think it's probably quite the advantage it once was, just because of the way practice is done.
I heard Lagerman say the other day I forget, maybe it was on the air here, but he said that when he was with the Jets, if they had to go play Miami early in the year, he preferred that because he was used to the summer and the heat. Whereas if they went and played him later in the year, they weren't. Even it was cooler in South Florida, they weren't used to it because of the way the conditions were up in New York for the Jet. The weather up there. So, I would imagine that's not the case when it's that hot, though.
Yeah, Pete, I'll tell you, I think every guy's different. The weather never bothered me. Whether it got hot, cold, it just never impacted me as a player. Like the only time I felt impacted on the road was for the first 1 or 2 series in Denver at Mile High, getting used to the altitude. But then once the game got going, you were fine. But I always remember early in those games, I'm like, golly, I got to catch my wind. But then your body adjusts and you just play.
It's funny because I lived there for a year, kind of like you did. I mean, I was only there for a year, but I remember when I first moved out there, I went and played basketball with somebody. I was like, I'm like, how do you get used to this? And you do. You eventually you settle down, within the 10-minute period, you get used to it. But I hate the cold. I despise the cold. And so if I had to play in the cold, you get used to it, I think. But what's tougher to play in, the cold or the heat?
Neither bothered me. I'd probably prefer to play in the heat. I mean, even though I grew up in Colorado, just because, I wore the same thing.
Right, you never wore your sleeves.
It just never. And
what would you rather be in now as an old man?
Heat. I hate the cold now. It bothers me. It really bothers me now. But as a player, it never did. And part of it was because I think it's a mindset a lot of times. I'd go in and just say, I refuse to let this bother me. I'm not going to let it impact me. And that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons I just dress the same way every time. I'm just going to go play football.
you think about it. I went to high school in South Florida. I went to college at Arizona. You see a pattern there. I live in South Florida now. A pattern. I run to the heat. I hate the cold. And I've been involved in some of the cold. I've been around some of the coldest NFL games there's ever been. Your game against New England was brutal in the playoff game that year. I was in the one when the Titans played the Patriots in New England one year in the new stadium. It was terrible. It was a night game. It was freezing. Coughlin's game at Green Bay. I was at that game. That was brutal. I mean, and
face fell off almost. Yeah, that one.
I can't stand the cold.
Well, Pete, remember a couple of years ago we were in Kansas City for the AFC title game together, and you had to, I was making fun of you because I was sitting in the booth and you had to go outside and do your hit, and I was like, "Have fun, buddy."
Yeah, because I was there the week before, and I think you were too. But it wasn't. It was snowing the week before, but it wasn't that cold. But the next week it was just freezing. You're right. I forgot about that one. Brutal.
Yeah, the only thing that impacted me on the cold, Pete, I remember you brought up the New England game. I remember the first pass pro in that AFC title game, my hands were so cold, it hurt to punch. But after the first punch, it was like, okay, now I'm fine.
Wow. And
then, if you remember, the power went out and we sat around for 15, 20 minutes, and I got cold again. And then that first series back, you're like, okay, I couldn't wait to get out and just hit somebody the first time to just get that first sting out of the body. Because after that, it was football.
Hey, JP, since I know we're up against it, we didn't get Tony's prediction on the season yet.
I thought we had.
Yeah, we did. I said 11-6.
And win a division, and then what?
Going to the AFC title game.
Okay, so I got them going 13. I'm winning 13 games, going to the Super Bowl, and not winning it.
Who are they going to play in the Super Bowl?
The Niners.
Really?
Well, think about the Niners. They have 4 games against the Rams and the Cardinals. That's the advantage, and both teams have major advantages in their divisions.
Hey, Pete, is the Bosa deal going to get done?
He'll show up. I mean, they'll get the Bosa's always don't they always hang out for a while? Didn't Joey did it too.
I mean, this week you heard rumors of a possible trade.
They're not trading him.
No way.
You don't trade a guy like that. I don't care what you get for him. You don't trade it. No way.
I'll tell you right now, if they were going to trade him, I'd give him 2. If I'm the Jags, give him 2 first-rounders and take that cat right now.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
That would be
I don't think 2 first-rounders would get it done, though.
Okay, what do you want? 2 first-rounders. What else do you want? That's how good he is.
I agree. You don't trade him. JP, what about your pick, buddy?
12.
Wow, he went right between us.
12 wins. Right in the middle. Right in the sweet spot right there. 12 wins. Division champs. And I don't think they'll get the number 1 seed with 12 wins.
How far in the playoffs do they go?
I think if they're not the 1 seed, I think they'll get to the AFC Championship game. I think they'll make a little run.
If they don't get the 1 seed with 12, who's getting the 1 seed?
Whatever one of those teams beats them, right? Bills or the Chiefs.
But look at this is why look at the AFC East, they're going to beat each other up. You look at the AFC North, they're going to beat each other up. And you look at West, Kansas City's schedule is brutal. And not only that, they play the Chargers in that division. And if Jacksonville beats them in week 2, there you go. There's your home field advantage.
Okay. I like that.
And I think defensively with no Chris Jones, the Chiefs have some issues early.
Yeah, let's hope that doesn't get resolved. That would be nice.
Yeah. I bet he shows up soon, though. They'll pay him. You got to have the game. Same with Bosa. You got to have the game record, Tony. You just talked about it. Those 2 are game records.
Yep.
Who do you guys like Thursday night in the kickoff game?
Lions haven't learned how to win yet.
I think the Chiefs, but I'm rooting hard for the Lions. I think it's a close game, though.
Why are you rooting hard for? Oh, just so the Chiefs lose a game?
No, just because
Brunell.
I just want Brunell to have success.
As the offense has success, then you consider that a plus for him.
Listen, I'm rooting for my guy, Pete. I want him to have a good offensive day and get a win. It's good for him.
He's done a really good job with Jared Goff. I'll give him that much. I think Mark's good coach.
All right, guys. Happy Labor Day. Enjoy the beach, Tony and Pete, I suppose.
No, I'm not at the beach. I'm working. I'm back at work.
That's Pete Prisco, Tony Boselli. I'm JP Shadrick. Air quotes, working. Joe Fortunato, our manager of radio, Brent Reaver, Andrea Curry on the video side, William Pease on podcast, Kate Waskey on ads. I'm JP Shadrick. Thank you for listening. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings.